What if the very things you're chasing have already begun moving towards you, but it's your own grip that keeps them out of reach? The Buddha once reminded us, we only lose what we cling to. We live in a culture that glorifies endless effort, late nights, constant control, and the obsession with results. Yet beneath all that noise lies a quieter truth. Life doesn't answer only to struggle, it answers to the energy we carry. Pause for a moment and ask yourself, are you really being tested by the chaos of the world, or are you being tested by your own resistance? How much of your peace have you sacrificed in the name of progress that never seems to arrive? This teaching may feel uncomfortable at first, because it challenges what we've been taught. But here's what Buddhist wisdom reveals. Sometimes the key to receiving isn't in forcing, but in softening. Not in chasing harder, but in letting go. When we loosen our grasp, life suddenly becomes lighter. The weight you thought was destiny was often just your own hands holding on too tightly. And when you release, you'll see what belongs to you has been on its way all along. So remember this. You don't have to run after what is already yours. The path opens when you stop blocking it. Lesson 1. Let go like the sky releases the storm. What if the only barrier between you and peace is the need to control everything around you? Think of the sky after a storm. The thunder fades, the lightning disappears, and the clouds dissolve as if nothing ever happened. The sky does not cling to the storm, nor does it replay the flashes of lightning it simply releases. That same wisdom lives within you. Many of us spend our lives gripping tightly to outcomes, micromanaging every detail of the future, scripting our lives with anxious precision. We call it ambition, but often it is fear, wearing a disguise, the fear of failure, the fear of not being enough, the fear that without control, life will collapse. Yet Buddhism teaches a different truth. Clinging is the seed of suffering. The more we fight reality, the more resistance burns inside us. We feel as if we are pushing a heavy stone uphill, exhausting ourselves, while peace drifts further away. But surrender in Buddhism is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is the recognition that life already has its rhythm, like a river flowing naturally to the sea. You cannot force a river to move faster. You cannot make it carve its path. You can only allow it to carry you. Ask yourself, what are you still gripping that no longer serves your soul? Is it a career that drains you, a relationship that weighs on your heart, or a version of yourself you've long outgrown? Can you release it as the sky releases the rain? There is a story of a man who spent years pounding on a locked door, begging it to open. He wasted his energy. He wore himself thin. One day, in his exhaustion, he sat down and turned his head, only to find another door had been open behind him all along. This is the cost of control. It blinds us to the doors already waiting to be walked through. Letting go does not mean abandoning responsibility. It means abandoning resistance. You plant the seed, but you do not scream at the soil demanding it sprout. You water it, you nurture it, and you trust its time. In the same way, you do your part, and then you step aside to let life unfold. The peace you seek is not something to chase, it is something to uncover. It already exists beneath layers of fear, control, and expectation. When you loosen your grip, the storm passes, and clarity shines through. In the end, the universe does not require more of your force, it asks for more of your trust. Heal the resistance within, and the world outside will begin to align with you. Lesson 2. Become the sky that watches the clouds. When was the last time you truly sat with your thoughts, not chasing them, not fearing them, not drowning in them, but simply watching them come and go? Most of us live like captives of our own minds. A thought appears, and we follow it. A worry arises, and we clutch it as if it were our lifeline. Yet the Buddha taught another way, a quieter, freer way. Imagine the open sky on a clear night. When the air is still, the moon shines in perfect reflection on a calm lake below. The water does not cling to the moon, nor does it distort it. It simply reflects. This is the mind in its natural state, clear, still, and able to mirror truth without distortion. But to discover this, you must learn to observe your thoughts instead of reacting to them. In today's restless world, the mind is rarely still. It is stirred by deadlines, shaken by comparisons, distracted by fears of failure, or the need to prove oneself. But what if you stopped struggling against your thoughts? What if you simply let them pass, as clouds drift across the sky? Peace comes from within. Do not seek it without. This is not just a saying, it is a path. Inner calm is not about silencing every thought. It is about watching them rise and fall without being carried away. When the voice in your head whispers, "I am not enough. What if I fail? No one understands me." You do not need to wrestle with it. You can simply watch it. Sit in stillness, the way the sky holds space for passing clouds. And soon, you'll see the thought moves on, while you remain. This is the beginning of true clarity. And clarity is liberation. Because the moment you witness your thoughts without judgment, you begin to see that many are not even yours. They are echoes from the past, borrowed fears, voices of expectation. Each time you observe without reacting, you loosen their hold. There is a story of a monk who once told his student, "You are not the clouds. You are the sky that watches." At first, the student struggled to understand. He fought against his own mind, chasing after joy, pushing away discomfort. But one morning, he simply sat, no judgment, no struggle, no resistance. And in that silence, he understood. Thoughts drifted like clouds. Emotions rose and fell like waves, but the awareness behind them remained untouched. For the first time, he was not lost in the storm of his mind, he was free from it. This same freedom is possible for you. It doesn't demand years of retreat or silence. It begins with a few minutes each day. Sit quietly. Allow your thoughts to come. Do not hold them. Do not chase them away. Just notice them, like leaves floating down a river, like clouds moving across an endless sky. The more you practice, the less power your thoughts will hold over you. In that sacred space between awareness and reaction, peace takes root. This is not an escape from life, it is a way of meeting life with a calmer heart and a clearer mind. The storms of the world will continue, but inside, you will remain like the vast sky, steady, open, and free. You are not your thoughts. You are the awareness that sees them. And when you rest in that awareness, life no longer needs to be forced. It unfolds naturally, bringing you exactly what you are ready to receive. Lesson 3. Flow with life as the river finds the sea. Why is it that some people seem to move through life with ease, drawing peace, clarity, and opportunity toward them, while others remain trapped in endless cycles of struggle, no matter how hard they push? The difference is rarely in effort. It lies in energy. The universe does not answer to words alone. It responds to the frequency you live in, the silent state you carry within. Think of a river making its way to the ocean. It does not thrash or force itself forward. It flows naturally, guided by its own course, steady and unshaken. In the same way, your life begins to align when your inner world becomes calm, centered, and undisturbed. Yet in a society that pulls you in 100 directions, how often do you return to this natural rhythm? Too often, we claim to seek peace while our energy radiates worry. We say we want abundance while carrying the vibration of scarcity. We wish for clarity while living in distraction. But Buddhist wisdom reminds us, you become what you think, you attract what you feel, and you create what you imagine. You do not attract what you merely want, you attract what you are. Every moment, your energy broadcasts like a signal to the world. Ask yourself honestly, is that signal one of fear or trust, chaos or calm, resentment or gratitude? Life, like a mirror, reflects your state back to you. When your inner ground is restless, the world appears restless. When your heart softens into stillness, life begins to open in harmony. There is an old tale of a man who planted seeds season after season, yet nothing grew. In his frustration, he blamed the soil, the weather, the time of year. One day, a teacher told him, "You plant with your hands, but you harvest from your heart. The soil of the mind must be fertile for life to bloom." Only then did the man realize that his bitterness, his doubt, and his fear had poisoned the ground of his being. He began a new practice, not of striving harder, but of tending to his inner world. And in time, what he sowed began to flourish. This is not magic, it is resonance. When your energy is aligned, life responds in kind. The right people arrive without effort. The right doors open without force. Not because the universe suddenly favors you, but because you are no longer out of tune with it. You finally flow with its rhythm as the river flows to the sea. So begin with small choices. Choose gratitude over complaint. Choose stillness over reaction. Choose presence over projection. Each of these choices tunes your energy toward peace. Place your hand over your heart and ask yourself, am I aligned with what I wish to receive? Or am I vibrating with the very fear I want to escape? Remember this. You do not need to push harder against life. You need only to align with it. The river never hurries, yet it always arrives. And when you too allow yourself to flow, life begins to organize around your peace. What is meant for you comes not through force, not through fear, but through the natural harmony of trust and surrender. Lesson 4. Walk the path without needing to see the end. There are moments in life when we stand frozen at a crossroads, uncertain of what lies ahead. The questions echo in our minds. What if it doesn't work out? What if I fail? What if the path leads nowhere? That weight of not knowing paralyzes even the strongest among us. Yet nature whispers a different wisdom. The river never hesitates. It does not demand to see the ocean to believe it exists. It simply moves forward, steady and unshaken, trusting that the sea awaits. You are no different. You do not need to see every step of the journey before you begin. You only need the courage to keep moving. In today's world, we are told that control is power. We obsess over plans, timelines, and outcomes. We calculate, predict, and demand certainty before we dare to act. But the Buddha's teachings offer another way, a way of surrender, of trust, of allowing life to unfold in its natural rhythm. To let go of the obsession with outcomes is not weakness, it is wisdom. Not knowing does not mean failure, it means faith. And faith, when practiced, becomes freedom. Consider how much of your energy is consumed by forcing life into shape, trying to control how others see you, when success should arrive, or how your future should unfold. That constant effort often ends in exhaustion, anxiety, and the crushing sense of always being behind. But what if peace is not found in guarantees, but in letting go of them? What if calm comes not from certainty, but from trust? Ask yourself this: how would I live if I trusted life completely? Would I act with more courage? Would I finally rest without guilt? Would I release what no longer serves me? There is a story of a woman who planted a single bamboo seed. For years, she saw nothing, no sprout, no growth, only silence. Neighbors mocked her, telling her to stop wasting her time. But she continued to water it faithfully. In the 5th year, the bamboo shot upward, rising 80 feet in a matter of weeks. All along, the roots had been preparing, unseen beneath the soil. Her only task was to trust and keep nurturing what could not yet be seen. Life works in the same way. In the moments when nothing seems to be happening, the roots of your future are quietly being formed. But because the mind craves proof, it convinces you that nothing is moving. This is where surrender becomes your strength. You do your work, but you release the demand for immediate results. You take action, but you loosen the grip on outcomes. You trust, not because you know the ending, but because you know the path itself has wisdom. To surrender does not mean to give up. It means to give over to the current of life, to the timing you cannot control, to the deeper rhythm that guides your steps. True calm is not born when everything goes as planned. It is born when you trust, even when it doesn't. So begin where you are. Take the next step, not because you have every answer, but because you have faith. Replace worry with wonder. Replace the need to predict with the willingness to receive. And when the road ahead looks uncertain, remember this: the river never carries a map. It simply flows. And still, it always reaches the ocean. The universe is not asking you to figure everything out. It is only asking you to trust. Keep flowing. Keep moving forward. Because what is meant for you will never come by force. It will arrive by faith. Lesson 5. Become open like the hollow bamboo. Often, the reason we feel trapped is not because life is holding us back, but because we are holding on too tightly. We grip outcomes, cling to identities, and attach ourselves to expectations that may have never truly belonged to us. It's like trying to grasp the wind with a clenched fist. The harder you hold, the faster peace slips through your fingers. Look instead at the bamboo. It bends with storms, but does not break. It stands tall, yet remains hollow within. Its strength lies not in being rigid or full, but in being open. Its emptiness is not weakness, it is freedom. It can move with the wind precisely because it does not resist. The Buddha's wisdom reminds us that true strength is not measured by what we accumulate or carry, but by what we are willing to release. At the heart of this teaching are 3 simple truths: how deeply you love, how gently you live, and how gracefully you let go. Yet most of us live the opposite way. We chase more, cling harder, and tell ourselves that rest can only come once everything is perfect. But this endless striving only deepens the suffering we are trying to escape. Ask yourself, what are you gripping too tightly right now? Is it the need to prove your worth to others? The rigid belief that success must look a certain way? Or the fear that if you stop pushing, everything will crumble? These are not just passing thoughts, they are weights. And those weights block you from receiving what is truly meant for you. There is a story of a student who once came to a wise monk, desperate for guidance. The student spoke endlessly of his troubles, his ambitions, his worries. Finally, the monk poured tea into a cup. He poured until the cup overflowed, spilling everywhere. Shocked, the student shouted, "It's overflowing." The monk replied, "Exactly. You are like this cup so full of your own opinions and fears that there is no space for anything new. Empty your cup." This is the practice of detachment, not rejecting life, but creating space within it. It means choosing stillness over obsession, allowing silence without filling it with noise, letting go of the need to control so that life can flow through you. When nothing is needed, everything becomes possible. To be like bamboo is to trust that what falls away was never yours to keep, to trust that what is meant for you will arrive not through struggle, but through alignment. So begin clearing space. Release relationships that drain you. Let go of goals that no longer resonate. Drop the constant pressure to prove yourself. Practice detachment in simple ways. End a conversation without needing the last word. Sit quietly without reaching for distraction. Notice a thought without weaving a story around it. In that openness, peace arises naturally. Not the kind of peace that depends on circumstances, but the peace that comes from no longer resisting life. Like bamboo, remain strong by being empty, not because you lack, but because you trust. The less you cling, the more the universe can move through you, and what it brings is always greater than what you once held on to. Lesson 6. Discover the power hidden in silence. In today's world, silence has almost become something we fear. Every empty moment is quickly filled with notifications, chatter, scrolling, or the urge to react. Yet what if the answers you've been chasing are not hidden in constant activity, but in the quiet space you keep avoiding? Stillness is not emptiness. It is not weakness. It is quiet strength, the force that shapes mountains, the patience that allows rivers to carve valleys. Silence may look like nothing on the surface, but within it lives the awakened mind. And when you enter that space, your true power begins to emerge. Burnout doesn't only come from doing too much. It comes from drifting too far from your breath, your purpose, your inner truth. We rush through life, hoping that speed will lead us to clarity. But clarity never comes from frantic motion. It comes when the dust settles, and dust only settles in stillness. Think of a river muddied by rain. Stirring it won't make the water clear. But left undisturbed, the mud sinks, and the surface reflects the sky. The same is true for your mind. You say you feel lost, anxious, overwhelmed. But ask yourself, what am I running from when I fill every silence with noise? Often, it is the fear of meeting yourself. Because in stillness, there are no distractions. There is only you, and that is where transformation begins. There is a Zen tale of a warrior who asked his master, "What is truth?" The master remained silent. The warrior grew impatient, repeating the question louder. Still, the master said nothing. Finally, frustrated, the warrior prepared to leave. At that moment, the master spoke softly. "Now you are ready to listen." The silence was not avoidance, it was the teaching itself. This practice is not about retreating to a mountain cave for years. It's about simple pauses woven into your day. 5 conscious breaths before you reply. A walk without your phone. A morning without rushing to check messages. These moments of stillness do not steal your productivity. They sharpen it. They align your energy, clear your mind, and make your presence magnetic. Stillness is not the absence of sound. It is the presence of awareness. It is the space where you stop chasing, stop performing, and begin to listen not to the noise of the world, but to the wisdom already inside you. What you find may not be words, but a deep knowing and inner certainty that needs no outside approval. That is when you stop forcing answers and begin allowing them to arrive. Your power is not measured by how loud you can be, but by how steady you remain when the world grows loud. The Buddha understood this truth that calm is not passivity, it is mastery. The quietest presence often carries the greatest strength. So today, honor the moments of silence. Step into stillness, not with impatience, but with openness. Let it strip away your fears. Let it reveal what you've been too distracted to notice. For in silence, wisdom awakens. In stillness, truth returns. Be like the calm river that reflects the sky. Be like the mountain shaped by quiet patience. Let silence be your strength, your anchor, your hidden thunder. Because in that sacred stillness, the universe delivers what has always been waiting for you. Lesson 7. Clear the inner mirror to see the light. When you gaze into a mirror covered in dust, what do you see? Not your true reflection, but shadows, distortions, fragments of light obscured by dirt. This is what happens when your inner world is clouded by wounds, fears, and unhealed beliefs. Life stops reflecting your potential and begins echoing your pain. The outer world is not separate from you. It mirrors the vibration you carry within. The Buddha taught, you cannot walk the path until you become the path. That wisdom reminds us, peace is not something to be hunted in the world outside, it must first be born within. Yet so often, we spend our lives trying to fix the external, our careers, our relationships, our status, even the timing of our dreams. But how can the outer world respond with harmony when our inner mirror is cracked? We say we long for abundance, but deep down, we believe we are undeserving of it. We claim we want peace, yet we fill our minds with chaos. We demand love from others, but we withhold it from ourselves. The truth is, you cannot receive what you do not believe you are worthy of. Healing the inner mirror is not a luxury, it is the foundation of transformation. There is a story of a woman who spent years trying to repair everything around her. She worked harder, demanded more, and yet nothing seemed to fall into place. Finally, worn out, she sat in meditation and asked, "Why is nothing working?" A still, quiet voice within replied, "Because you still believe you are broken." In that moment, everything shifted. She realized it wasn't her job, her partner, or her finances that needed fixing. It was the way she saw herself. Healing does not begin with relentless effort. It begins with acceptance. Ask yourself now, what do I believe I truly deserve? And is that belief carrying me forward or holding me back? If your inner dialogue is woven with guilt, scarcity, or fear, no external achievement will ever feel enough. You will always be running, never arriving. But the moment you begin affirming, "I am enough. I trust the flow of life," the entire frequency of your being changes. The universe reflects back what you finally choose to see in your self-wholeness. Healing the inner mirror is not about becoming perfect. It is about becoming present. It's noticing the harsh voice of the inner critic and replacing it with compassion. It's sitting in stillness not to fix yourself, but to listen deeply. It's journaling, meditating, or simply breathing small practices that affirm your worth before the world has the chance to shake it. Don't wait for the world to validate who you are. Decide it now. Because when the dust of self-doubt is cleared, you begin to see the opportunities, the love, and the peace that were always there. That is when synchronicities begin to appear, when relationships shift, when life stops resisting you and starts flowing with you. And the most beautiful truth is this: you do not need to be fully healed to begin. You only need to begin. Begin by treating yourself as worthy of the life you desire. Begin by meeting each day with gentleness instead of judgment. Begin by trusting that you are supported, even when you cannot yet see it. The world reflects who you are becoming. Heal your inner mirror, and life will shine that light back to you, not one day far in the future, but here, now, in this very moment. Lesson 8. Carry your mind like a feather on the breeze. Much of the heaviness we feel each day is not real, it is imagined. Thoughts swirl in circles, fears of what might happen, scenarios we try to control before they even exist. We become lost in storms of what is and what next, forgetting to ask the one question that matters most. What is true in this very moment? The Buddha taught that a light mind is a free mind. Just as a pot filled with water, drop by drop, peace fills us when we learn to rest gently in the present. Imagine a feather settling softly on the surface of a stream. It does not sink. It does not resist. It simply rests. That is the nature of clarity. Lightness is not carelessness. It is wisdom without the weight of fear. But many of us are trapped in overthinking. We convince ourselves that endless analysis, constant planning, or relentless worrying will somehow make life safer. Yet has worry ever truly delivered peace? The harder you try to think your way into calm, the more tangled your mind becomes. Because peace is never found in struggle, it is found in letting go. There is a story of a man who spent night after night consumed with fear about a bridge he would one day need to cross. What if it collapses? What if I cannot make it across? He asked himself again and again. His anxiety grew heavier with each sleepless night. But when the day arrived, the bridge stood strong. The problem he carried so long had never even existed. This is the burden of imagined obstacles. How much of your suffering today is built on fears that may never come true? Ask yourself honestly, am I battling problems that don't even exist? If the answer is yes, it is time to let your thoughts float rather than sink. The feather does not resist the air, nor does it force its way forward. It trusts the wind to carry it. This is the wisdom of softness. In your daily life, it means choosing calm before action, pausing before you speak, breathing before you decide. It means letting intuition guide you rather than impulse. When your thoughts become lighter, your presence changes. People sense it. The energy around you shifts. You no longer attract from desperation, but from grace. This kind of lightness is not laziness, it is discipline. It is the choice to stop feeding fear and to nourish presence. Whether you are waiting for an answer, stuck in traffic, or facing uncertainty, can you float instead of sink? Can you choose presence over panic? To think lightly does not mean you stop caring. It means you care wisely, without sacrificing your peace. So, let this be your practice today. Release one worry. Drop one unnecessary thought. Place your trust in the moment that is here, not the one that might never come. When the mind becomes as light as a feather, the heart begins to open. And in that openness, life flows toward you with ease like a river carrying you where you were always meant to go. Lesson 9. Trust the mud that nurtures the lotus. In the depths of muddy waters, where sunlight struggles to reach and everything appears still, the lotus begins its quiet ascent. It doesn't rush. It doesn't curse the darkness. It simply grows, inch by inch, patient and steady, until one day it breaks the surface and unfolds into beauty. Your life follows the same rhythm. Perhaps right now you feel buried in uncertainty, waiting for something to shift clarity about your future, healing for old wounds, or simply a moment of calm after years of chaos. It may feel heavy, even endless. But what if this season, the mud you are in, is not a punishment, but preparation? Buddhism reminds us that growth begins beneath the surface. What looks like delay is often sacred development. Roots are stretching, foundations are forming, lessons are being woven quietly in the unseen. You cannot see the unfolding yet, but it is happening. The lotus teaches us an important truth. Peace does not require perfect conditions. It grows from patience, from presence, from the willingness to rise when the time is right. And yet, in our world, we are trained to rush. Society rewards speed, ambition, and instant results. So we panic when life asks us to wait. We doubt our path. We question our worth. But urgency is not alignment. It is anxiety disguised as progress. Digging up the seed to check if it's growing only delays the bloom. So ask yourself, can I allow this season to unfold without forcing it? Can I trust the soil even when I cannot see the roots? This is not passivity, it is wisdom. It is the strength of surrender, the courage to let life ripen in its own rhythm. Peace is not about having all the answers. It's about breathing in the space of not yet. It's about staying present in uncertainty, holding your ground even when clarity has not arrived. Many souls burn out not because they do too much, but because they resist what is trying to accelerate seasons that are meant to unfold slowly, comparing their muddy middle to someone else's full bloom. But the lotus never compares. It simply rises when the moment is right. Every day you wait with patience, you are building invisible strength. Each moment you choose trust over panic. You align yourself with the deeper flow of life. Trust that when the timing is right, your seed will rise. And when it does, it will not be with the frantic energy of proving yourself, but with the quiet knowing of someone who has become their worth. Let this be your reminder. Delays are not denials. They are invitations to rest, to realign, to prepare your spirit for what is coming. The universe is not holding you back. It is shaping the perfect conditions. So breathe, stay rooted, and trust the mud beneath you. Because like the lotus, you too will bloom not in spite of the mud, but because of it. Lesson 10. Let calm give birth to your action. Picture a candle burning steadily in a quiet room. Its flame does not flicker wildly, nor does it fight against the air. It glows with steady light because the space around it is still. This is how your life's actions are meant to arise not from panic or desperation, but from the stillness of inner peace. In a world obsessed with speed and constant movement, it's easy to mistake chaos for progress and busyness for purpose. Yet Buddhist wisdom reminds us that true power comes when our doing flows from our being. Think back to the last time you acted from a place of fear or urgency, sending a rushed message, making a hasty decision, reacting without pause. Did those choices bring clarity, or did they leave you drained and disconnected? The truth is this: Meaningful action does not come from panic. It is born from presence. When the mind settles, when the heart grows quiet, your choices sharpen and your energy strengthens. As the Buddha taught, do not dwell in the past, do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment. Rooted in the now, your actions become intentional rather than reactionary. This is especially vital in times of overwhelm when you're facing career uncertainty, emotional struggles, or the pressure to always do more. The temptation is to move faster, to hustle harder. But frantic energy burns out quickly. Calm energy endures. What if the breakthrough you've been seeking doesn't come from doing more, but from doing with peace? When you act from a place of calm wisdom, your impact multiplies. Your energy is no longer wasted on struggle, it is directed with clarity and focus. Ask yourself, am I moving from fear or from centered presence? That one question has the power to transform how you approach your work, your relationships, and your life. And when you notice agitation rising, pause. Breathe. Return to your center. Remember, peace is not something you earn after exhausting yourself. Peace is the foundation that gives your actions strength. From this ground of stillness, even small steps ripple outward with power. This practice does not ask you to abandon action. It invites you to let your action flow naturally, like a river finding its way to the sea, not forcing, not fighting, simply moving with grace. In stillness, inspiration appears. The path clears. Your choices become precise instead of scattered, strong instead of fragile. Let this sink in. When your mind is calm, your actions burn longer and brighter, like that steady flame in the still room. You are no longer a storm rushing in every direction. You become a quiet, unshakable force, a light that persists, endures, and guides. So the next time you feel pressured to act, stop and ask, am I centered? If the answer is no, wait until it is. Let peace be the root of your next move. Because your true strength does not come from hurried doing it, comes from mindful being. And when you live this way, you don't have to chase outcomes. What you need begins to flow toward you, drawn to the calm clarity you now embody. Conclusion. At the heart of all these lessons lies a simple truth. Peace, clarity, and strength were never outside of you. They've been within you all along. Like the lotus rising from mud, like the river flowing to the sea, like the candle that shines in stillness, your life becomes powerful the moment you stop forcing and start aligning. The Buddha's wisdom is not about escape, it is about presence. It is about remembering that what you seek is already moving toward you, if only you allow it. Each time you let go, each time you choose stillness over chaos, trust over fear, and calm over panic, you return home to yourself. And from that place, everything else falls into place. So, as you move forward, carry this with you. You don't need to chase what is already meant for you. You don't need to control every outcome. You only need to align your mind, your heart, and your energy with the peace that's always been yours. From there, life unfolds with a grace that no amount of struggle could ever create. If these lessons spoke to you, take a moment to breathe them in, to live them not just today, but every day. And if you found value in this journey, support this space of wisdom by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and sharing it with someone who might need these words. Let us continue walking this path of stillness and strength together. Until next time, may you flow like the river, rise like the lotus, and shine like the steady flame of peace within you.